Welcome back to the OPL for this, our second match of our second day of our second week of our second split of 2017. My name is Michael Hingersing, joined here by Jake and also Destiny, two fantastic supports. And if you're just joining us from home, you have missed out on a stellar game between Chiefs and also Abyss. Abyss almost taking it to the 2016 champions. There we go, defending champions from last year. And unfortunately for them, Chiefs taking series 2-0 in the end. But we're about to get into our second game of the day. Sin Gaming taking on TM. And both teams looking to bounce back after pretty full-on losses last week. Jake, give me your initial thoughts on this matchup.
Initial thoughts on the matchup. Both teams, you know, like you said, coming off a loss last week, they're both going to be hungry to win. I think for Sin, Dockler's got something to prove this week. High value import, and TM, I think they've got to look to find an identity.
Destiny, what are your thoughts on TM looking to find an identity? That's an interesting point to bring up.
Yeah, definitely. Like, they've got a lot of rookies. We mentioned it last week. They've got Low, they've got Shock. Even Only is somewhat a rookie. And they just really want to... They need to solidify themselves in the OPL because TM last split had a pretty rough split. And now it's starting to begin again this split.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Only there. Only, despite the loss last week, had a pretty respectable showing. And I wonder if... he's maybe someone that TM look towards to carry this game, potentially, or is Juves going to be too much for him, Jake?
We're talking about this before. I think Only doesn't really need a team to get himself a lead. He is, you know, only himself.
The clue's in the name.
He's definitely a solo player. Obviously, he can work well with a team, but Juves is the complete opposite. Juves is a very selfless player. He'll do anything to get his team going, and it's a coin flip on that matchup.
Kind of wonder if Juves has seen this in the mirror, Destiny. Do you think he's going to be taking this matchup?
Yeah, I think Juves has definitely seen this in the mirror. I think he's realized that Gragas is going to be the contested pick this series. I think that's what he saw this morning.
Well, speaking of contested picks, both top laners are probably going to be looking towards Fiora as well. We know that Dockler is known as a Jace Fiora player. We've also seen for TM, Praetor loves Fiora as well. So is that likely to see a lot of priority from these guys both?
Yeah, I think we're definitely looking at a lot of AD fighter matchups, Jarvan, Fiora, Jace, those types of things. You know, Praetor's even shown he plays Talon and Echo last split.
Although a few tanks in there for Dockler.
Yeah, Dockler, but
last week.
That could be nerves, you know. Like you said, coming over from NA, everyone's hyped him up as a Fiora Jace player, really high priority carry. You know, could be nerves. Don't know. Hopefully we'll see it this week.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Jake. Could have been nerves. That's why they forced him onto a tank. But this week he's playing against Praetor, who's sort of a veteran for TM now. And he's been usually put on these split push carries. And they might try to put carry versus carry or see how he goes to get reverting him back to the tanks.
Yeah. All right, well, let's take a look, first of all, at the Sin team lineup as they're getting ready in our studio right now. And these guys, a very disappointing loss for them last week. Going up against Legacy, who is kind of their new rivals in the OPL. But let's go through their lineup, shall we? This high-value import, his name is Dockler. He's from NA. He played some collegiate esports in North America, but he has joined Sin this split. Their jungler is Juves. Their mid laner is Ryomo, who has been popping off a bit of late. Very impressive plays. FBI is their AD carry, and their support player is Rogue. Cheeky grin there. I feel like these guys will be feeling confident going into this game.
They definitely should.
Yeah, with the new system, where the way that points work, when you get a 2-0 and a 2-1, I feel like they really need this 2-0 to solidify themselves at the top. And obviously, with their gauntlet run last split, they don't want to be at the bottom side, and neither does Jake. Like, you obviously want to be at the top of the gauntlet, right? And losing to the lower end teams of the OPL really hurts your chances at winning the gauntlet.
Absolutely, and with teams like Abyss, for example, who we just saw really stepping up their gameplay in many ways. I mean, that 4th, 5th spots in the gauntlet could be under a lot more pressure than they have been previously.
Even down to the 6th spot, I reckon.
Exactly.
I reckon all top 6 teams, they'll be very competitive.
All right, well, their opponents today are TM. Let's take a look at those guys getting ready in the studios right now and run down their lineup, shall we? Their top laner, who we've spoken about already, is Praetor. Will he be taking on that Fiora, those carries today? Only is their jungler, who had a great showing at Origin a couple of weeks back now. Shock is their mid laner. Now, there's been some talk about his limited champion pool. We might talk a bit more about that later. Low is their AD carry. And the Goon, friend of the desk. Give him the old double flex there.
We don't even prompt him this week.
Playing in support. And, yeah, I mean, I love these. You look at these, right? Everyone's having a nice smile, and then you look at the goon, and he's just like, it's a mugshot. It's an absolute mugshot.
He's been here before too many times.
Exactly. He's like, I'm too old for this.
It's all business for him. Everyone's like, oh, my first game of the OPL.
Everyone's really excited. The goon's like, nah, here we go again. But, I mean, they're going to be looking to him, for example, along with Prey, to be the shot calling, to be the experience in that TM lineup.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, I think they don't really need much more than that. We saw Sin last split, Ryoma and FBI were rookies. You know, if these guys are good enough, if they trust in T-Gun Praedyth only, they could take him to a third-place finish like Sin got. Early days, but, you know.
Yeah, Shock and Low are just like really wild cards right now. We don't know how good they can get. We don't know how bad they can get.
Yeah.
It's really a true
The bottom
wild
could really
card.
fall out. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I definitely feel that TM have a lot to prove in this match, and they've got to hit hard to versus Ryoma and FBI.
We've
right?
talked about the fact that that Sin would be looking for a 2-0 here, you'd think. Now, for TM then, I mean, would they be happy, quote-unquote, with just taking a game off Sin? Or do you think that they would obviously just want to take this?
I mean,
no one's happy.
Yeah, you can't say that. Everyone wants to get the 2-0. I mean, they're hungry. They've got nothing to lose. You know, I think they finished, was it 6th or 7th last split? They came back up through relegations. They've got everything to prove right now.
Yeah.
Yep, completely agree. I think with the new coach, Johnny Cyclone, former chief.
Former chief, yeah.
Yep, I feel like he's bringing a lot of infrastructure, and as you can see on his Twitter, they're getting into shape. So hopefully we can see them have a good performance there.
All right, well, let's get your guys' predictions then before we get into our second match of the day. Jake, let me start with you. Is this going to be a 2-0 for Sin, or can TM take a game?
I think it'll be a 2-0 for Sin.
Right.
2-0 for Sin.
Okay. Yeah, Destiny, do you agree? I mean, do you think there's a chance TM can take a game? Is it going to be carrying through only through Praedyth? Maybe, you know, maybe if we get Shock on an Orianna or something?
There is obviously a chance, like we saw last game.
Absolutely.
Anything can happen in the OPL.
Absolutely.
But I do think it will be a 2-0 Sin, just because of how good Ryoma is right now. He's really in form. And even FBI, I feel like, has been an underrated AD carry this split.
He's stepped up
huge. Yeah, he's stepped up hugely.
All right, well, let's see if the viewers at home agree with you both. opltips.com.au, and no surprises there. A lot of people think Sin can take this, but a lot of people,
votes for
almost
2-1.
half people thinking that...
There's more for the 2-1 than there is for the 2-0.
Most people
That's
in the Sin column are saying that TM are going to take a game. So...
I'd just like to point out there, I have 100% accuracy so far in my tips on the desk, so trust me, guys. I got you.
They can't change their tips now.
What type of fans going in voting? Yeah, I reckon the other team will win the game. Come on, guys.
Well, if you have any questions for our analysts, for example, if you want to know if Destiny can back up his 100% win, his 100% tipping record on the desk, hashtag IMOPL or @OPL. We will answer your questions about the game when we get back. But for now, it is time for us to get into our second match of the day. So let's throw it over to you casters. It is Spawn, Fish, and Carbon.
Thank you very much, guys. About to get into the second match of today. It's going to be Sin taking on TM, and we had a action-packed first game here today. Hopefully we get something as exciting coming into this second best of 3 series.
Yeah, we had a really back-and-forth struggle in that game too. Shout out to Raze. I actually didn't realize he didn't die and went immortal in that best of 3.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what I saw out of Raid, what I saw out of Lutz, you know, being able to step up, having good laning phases, gives me a lot of hope for Abyss. And another team that needs to start building on things to get some hope back is this TM lineup, because 2 new players in Shock and Low. They've got wild cards around the map in, you know, T-Gun and Praedyth. This could be a team that we talk about for a long time, or they could be the supernova that just burns out.
I think that Sin's performance this split and in this series rests pretty heavily with Dockler. I think we saw last split with Flares where they did really well, especially when he was playing well. And the further the season went and the more he synergized with the team, the better they did. They have a new import this split, and I think for them to do well, he's going to have to perform.
I mean, especially when they had Wizard on their lineup. We used to say that Juice has found his new Rymaster and Flares in the top lane.
Yep.
Without him, they do have Ryoma in the roster, which is looking incredibly strong for them, but Dockler is going to have to step up and be that presence that Flares was last split.
See, to me, Sin's kind of such a strange lineup, because they've got 2 very good supportive members in Juves as well as Rogue, that you just want everyone else to be able to be a threat and be able to carry. And I think that's why Flares fit them so well, because not only could he play tanks and, you know, big sweeping teleport, but he could actually be a threat. Because when you do have, you know, Juves and Rogue frontlining, you don't honestly need that much else.
TM just spent the last 30 seconds debating on whether or not they were going to give Zach or Galio. because by banning the Tahm Kench and the Elise, they had to do one or the other.
No way!
And they decided to give to Zach. So curious to see whether they have anything planned for
Which
that.
is super strange because when Sin banned out the Nidalee, I would have assumed the last ban would then become Zach.
In
and
response
then you
as a jungle ban.
give the Galley over. Because what Only was trying to do was force the tempo matchup. Zach
Yep.
doesn't farm all that quickly after the first clear. Then
Well, he
Nidalee
does,
gets on top
just
of
not
him.
as fast as Nid.
Not as fast as Nidalee, yeah. So I think that's a little bit of a misdraft here out of the TM squad.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they have something to deal with the Zach. You know, I'm hoping that they know something that we don't.
I'm trying to think, like, Graves is the other quick farming jungler, but I just don't think Graves
There's nothing that
holds
really
anything on
punishes him
Zach.
in the matchup. If
Yeah.
there was, then we wouldn't see permanent bans on Zach. But maybe it's something else. You know, maybe T-Gun's just super confident in his slingshot plays that he can just stop Zach from ever engaging. Or maybe they have, I don't know. They have to show me because until I see it, I'm going to be pretty skeptical.
Well, they pick up Lee Sin as their jungler of choice heading into the Zach.
Only he's good, Lee.
And don't get me wrong, that's a fantastic core. All of a sudden, you've got extreme damage that comes out of Varus, one of the highest damage AD carries in the game still. Got Lee Sin and Thresh to be able to facilitate picks around the rift. Tahm Kench isn't available, so those picks are going to be quite sticky as the game progresses.
Yep.
The only problem is that if it gets a team fight, Zach is just the best utility in Super Tank currently in the game of League of Legends. Reason he's permabanned. Wonder if Rogue plays it. Who did we see play support? Zach, was that Rosie?
I think it was Rosie.
Yeah.
I think it was Rosie. We're seeing some top lane bans coming out of Sin. Curious to see whether they go with the carry or whether they stick to the tanks with Doppler.
Yeah, you can see him throwing in a couple of top lane bans. Renekton's been banned out. Echo probably a mid lane ban targeted towards Ryoma.
They want the priority Syndra pick here. Does Ryoma play Fizz is the biggest question to be asked, because as soon as you get rid of Echo, you know that they're going to try and first round the Syndra and then be able to pick it up for the pick up Praedyth counter pick for himself. Sorry, I've lost the ability to speak.
Kled. Okay, what's interesting about this is that they've left the Jace up. TM are now going to have to choose between Syndra and Jace. If they take the Syndra, then Sin can pick the Jace and potentially flex it. But TM apparently don't care.
Yeah, just give no worries at all about that one. Orianna potentially for Shock.
Yeah, because Shock is known for being a Syndra player.
Yep.
He plays Syndra and Zillion, which is why Zillion was the first banned by Sin. But he's kind of known for playing those two champs in solo queue. And very curious that they would... I mean, even Tommy's got a small smirk on his face, Ryoma, because he's surprised as well that they didn't take the Syndra. So
The only thing I can think of, and this is like a really... I mean, I don't agree with this way of thinking about League of Legends, but they're trying to get Sin on champions that do not escape, like Cataclysm and, you know, Lee Sin Engage and the Thresh Hook and all those tools very well. That's why they get rid of Echo, because Tommy has played it into other matchups and done it very well.
Yep.
So right now, what they've got is a Clumpers 5 team comp, and TM have just thrown the gauntlet and said, well, our Clumpers 5 is better because we've got Jarvan and Orianna, which has been used to such great effect in the OPL so far. So to me, this was not like we're going to outdraft you, we're going to outcomp you around the map, like our team comp does something different. It's just that we don't care what you take. We will 5v5 and we will try and win.
very heavy on the magic damage from Sin as well. And just continuing on from your point, in a 5v5 where TM have potentially two Lockets, one on Lee Sin, one on Thresh, maybe a redemption from either.
Yep.
All of a sudden the team fight looks a lot more difficult for Sin.
Yep.
If TM can survive the burst and Sin can't, you know, if Syndra, or God forbid, if Ashe dies to one of these Jarvan combos, Sin are going to have a very hard time killing them.
They are. We do have the combo of the ultimate coming out from Rumble as well as Braum, the red and blue carpets.
I feel like this actually, I actually really like Ryoma as a mid laner. He plays aggressive when he needs to. Doesn't take cleanse all that often, and I think this has to be a cleanse game. The more I look at that, you got Thresh, you're going to have, you know, the ability to cleanse flash out of Jarvan, knock up because of how much follow-up CC is going to be there. He's taken heal instead, which gets gives him some mobility around it. But I think that when you got, you know, Varus, Thresh, so much pick coming towards you, I don't know if you can afford to be blown up in the team fight because no one else really is going to be able to provide any upfront burst damage to knock down a member of TM and stop their 5v5 death comp coming at you.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose I agree on some level. At the same time, I feel like if anything hits Ryoma, that Ryoma would have to cleanse, he's probably going to die anyway. So if he gets Jarvan comboed and he has to cleanse flash out, Jarvan's probably still going to hit him with an ult, or the Ori ult is still going to, you know what I mean?
Yep.
They can still flash and follow up with something. And so the cleanse might save him from a gank, like a Thresh Roam or something. But in a big team fight, like what we're talking about, in a big 5v5, if he's in a position where he has to cleanse, likely he's going to die anyway.
On the flip side, Shock has picked up Cleanse heading into this match
That's
up
just
against the
Ashe.
Arrow.
Everyone takes
Yep.
Cleanse versus Ashe.
As soon as there's an Ashe, you got to pick up Cleanse
Nothing
anyway.
worse than winning lane and then getting bonked.
But for now, let's check in with Hingers, who I believe is standing by with Sin's coach, Bensel.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Bensel, and it looks like your team's draft is looking for a bit of a team fight. But the casters just then were saying, look, so is TM. I mean, do you feel any threat from their team comp going for 5v5?
I think it really suits us playing to a team fight win condition. I think TM has
5-16.
shown.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, TM as well,
Yeah.
taking into account that I think they look best when Praetor is playing a split pusher. So when he's playing Jarvan, there's not a lot of threat from the split pushing, and we can take it to them in team fights.
All right, so you guys are feeling pretty confident with this then?
We got Zach, so it's hard to not feel confident with Zach.
Stuff. Well, thank you for speaking to us, and best of luck.
There you go, Bensel very confident going into the team fight up against TM.
Very interesting
happy.
point that he's drafting stylistically
Yep.
into other teams, right? He's not just thinking about what's strong, but he's also thinking about what is TM strong at. TM always split pushing. They almost took a game last week against AV with a Praetor split push.
Yeah, 0-0-0 Fiora.
So very interesting that they're trying to draft them into a team fight comp, thinking that they're not very good at team fights. I like the approach.
I mean, that's the gauntlet thrown, right? Because all of
Yeah.
a sudden, if you lose the team fight, where do you go from here? Because it does open other avenues. And I guess too much has changed on TM to really say with confidence that they can't do it. Although you'd have to think that Sin definitely have more experience within a competitive setting, beating people in team fight situations. They
Yeah.
were the original ARAM Mel fight comp.
They are. They did start the OSA round. I do also just want to spoil the game quickly and say that I have yet to see the Darkstar Orianna skin win any game
Ooh.
that I've ever seen since it's come out. I think it is pay to lose.
Tegan,
So,
Tegan didn't get the memo, though. Got Darkstar Orianna, Varus, no Thresh. It's a little bit unfortunate.
actually, that's a really good point. What on earth is T-Gun doing?
No synergy whatsoever.
Ruined it.
And maybe out of all the skids, the other skid that was actually accused of being pay to win was the Thresh variant of it, which Egypt terrorized solo queue with for a very long time. And I know that you had a little bit of a problem with that at the start.
Yeah, I don't like that skin. Jungles, both just full clearing, both just matching each other for speed. Only actually a little bit quicker. I didn't see the leash. I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking more about the skin.
The
But
important things.
only has a small tempo lead here. He's warding the river and he's going straight for a bot lane gank.
This is
Get-
actually
get
a
behind
good
it.
I like
path.
this. I really like this.
Low went
They
for
have no
Dorrance.
idea this is coming.
Oh, double flag.
Low went for
That's a
Dorrance
lot
play
better
as
than
well.
last week, T-Gun.
Good damage. There's the wall being put up by
Dead.
Rogue. Double flash, and there's a Hawk straight back on towards Rogue. Ignite is ticking, and Rogue's going to fall. First blood picked up by Low.
And you mentioned this is the exact play they went for last week. Last time around, T-Gun flash, hooked, missed everything,
Did the
played
yellow
no
star.
one.
Os yellow star.
But this time around, gets the double play in a straight line.
Yep.
And the big thing about going with the Thresh, actually, he doesn't have it. I was going to say Courage and Blossom means that that's a pretty safe game because Thresh gets a big health shield, although they're going for a
They're going for
dive.
the dive.
FTI stuck in the turret.
lives.
Tegan lives through the heal. Only
Oh,
flash
he's
away.
dead.
He's still going to fall, but two
Super
kills in
worth.
the bottom lane.
Super worth. Look how big that wave is.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely massive. And you get the free reset off the back end of it as well. That's a bold call to make that play. And all of a sudden, you've got an accelerated Varus with 2 items. We said Varus, one of the best team fighting AD carries still in the game and going to be set up for success here.
And a big thing about that as well is they set back FBI, the only person who does physical damage on the side of Sin.
Yep. Yep. Very good point. Very good point. It's just going to make these lockets even more effective because Sin are going to be relying on this AP damage. Fantastic. Pathing out of only and a fantastic gank. I have to say that I'm super impressed by his choice to skip the blue and just run straight down to bot. Sin have a very aggressive bot lane. Sin's bot lane really don't like conceding, and so it's not a surprise to me to see them so far up in the lane, and a fantastic flash from T-Gun.
Certainly agree with it. And what makes it even more impressive is the fact that the punish is minimal. If you've gone Raptors red buff, Wolves blue, down bottom side, and you know that Tubes has started on his Raptors, I mean, the only punish available is either dive top or take away Krugs.
Yep.
And neither of those are really, like, Krugs was what he went with. Top lane dive with a Rumble against the Jarvans is probably not going to work out for you.
Well, you can see that Jarvan sacked about 10 CS. I mean, he might have missed some like that, but you know, his Jarvan's had to sack at least a wave for that dive specifically, so Praetor's playing him pretty well.
Burnley's waiting just behind the turret there in case Tegan can land
He
that
actually
hook.
showed himself. That
Yeah.
was not good for him. I like the idea. I don't like the show.
Yeah. Got some good ward coverage on the bot lane. It'd be really good to see TM freeze this here. Because, yeah, you can see how far back Ashe is standing. They're petrified.
Tegan just takes a cheeky minion for himself. No relic proc there, buddy. Don't know how it works.
Tegan doesn't care, mate. You saw him flexing.
He's the real carry of this lane.
Okay, I expect the next gank to come out of Zac. He's got a bit of tempo on the Lee Sin. Lee has to clear his camps now. He's moving to the bot side, which is giving their bot lane a bit of confidence so that they can move up and break this freeze.
They do have a ward, which is in the second.
Is that going to spot him? I wonder whether that saw him before it died.
Yeah, there are pings going towards that bush.
No, it was actually the blue ping. So
Yeah, so I think Juves thinks he's been seen,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure whether he really has, because the range on Trinket wards is smaller than a regular ward, and so there's a chance that he might have got in there.
And everywhere else on the map is relatively even. I mean, as we said, bottom kind of traded for top. Jarvan not really going to mind. Going towards what looks to be potentially a Hex Drinker first up and then into Tiamat. Aggressive build out of Praetor. Would not expect anything else from the young man.
No, absolutely not.
But I like the trade. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, but I think that getting rid of the only physical damage, now just being able to farm to level 6 for Lee Sin without flash available, is definitely worthwhile on the side of the TM lineup.
Nice counter jungling here from Only. Juves going to have no camps up if Only gets away with this.
Is this a read? Is this because he saw him bottom side and he just thinks he would be full health, not really going to
I'm
have
not
it?
sure.
Or is
I
it
think
just
he
a
might have
bold
just.
call?
I think he might have just guessed. I mean, Zac's not really going to kill him for invading.
Yep.
He warded over the wall before he walked in, so I think he probably guessed, but I might have missed something.
Yeah, actually has a free gang top lane as well. Walked over a ward. Was actually doing Skeletal Crab. You could see he flew back, so gave himself away a little bit there. But is on tempo for level 6.
He still wants this gank. Dockler's very far up. Praetor is 6.
He's locked him down with the Cataclysm as well. Dockler's going to stand and fight him. Good equalizer coming through. Praetor is fairly low, but Only's right behind him. Pretty difficult. Tags him,
max
gets the
range
follow
Q.
through as well. Dockler as well as Only pick up that kill.
And that is why people are excited about Only. This guy generates his own advantages. Forces bottom lane, comes away with 2 kills. Forces top, lands a skill shot, cleans up Dockler as well. I mean, as a jungler on a new team, that is exactly how you get early game advantages.
Bit of disrespect by Dockler for the jungler there. He walks over the ward, walks back into the river. Dockler assumes, I guess, incorrectly, that he's not coming back. Because Only he just waltzed straight over that ward into the top lane. Fantastic play by Praetor to open with the ult and then save the EQ for when Lee Sin got there. Max range Q. Very, very good gank. But I think Dockler may have probably avoided.
Yeah, and I mean, Dockler didn't even flash the Q in the end. I mean, he flashed with the Q on him and only was able to follow through.
Yep.
There are so many ways you live through that gank if you are the Rumble, but I still think, like, you know, that's one of those things that he 50-50'd it and Only came out better. That's just where you take a bow and you're like, all right, cool, he scored on me.
Got to give some props to the bot lane of Sin, though. Despite the double kill early, they've managed to neutralize the lane. They have double pinks in the river, so they have complete control over this lane. TM have no idea what's going on other than whatever information Only's feeding them about Zac's whereabouts. So, you know, well played by them.
And now this is exciting for me because you get to see how much of the gold lead is needed against Zac before you actually have any confidence in a mid game. Because what we've seen in the past is that Zac just gets to this start of the game. It doesn't really matter. He dives your mid lane turret, you take it down, and then he starts rolling everywhere else around the map. So I want to see, like, is it 2,000? Is it 5,000?
Yeah, how
is
far
it
ahead do you have to
15,000
be?
gold at 20 minutes that you have to be ahead before Zac is irrelevant?
Oh, here he
we
goes.
go.
Play.
For the jump.
This is a heat check. Gonna go for it.
Decides not to go in.
Had the rubber arms
Pass
as
the
well
IQ
as the
test,
ult.
back off the wave. No wards. I like that from TM, showing
knows.
respect.
Juves knows that he's not being spotted there, so a big heads up play. Both ultimates being expended in the mid lane. Shock incredibly low.
And that's going to be blue buff gone for Orianna, which is very bad news.
Raiders got Only on the top side of the map again. Dockler's just a sitting duck
he missed
here.
that one.
Dodges out the Sonic Wave, but still, you've just got 2 members barreling towards you. There's nothing Dockler can do. Or is he? He's trying. Equalizer comes through, not enough.
I mean, normally you'd want to drop that on a wave so they can delay this, because what they're saying is we can trade across map now. A little bit of turret damage for some turret damage, but doesn't even get it on the wave. I think you should have probably held that ultimate. The young top laner Sin. That's one of the frustrating ultimates where you're just like, I'm going to die anyway, hit all my buttons, go
Well,
back
you
to
throw
base.
it down in the Cataclysm.
No, you use on the wave so they can't push the tower afterwards. That's the best usage. What's happened to bot lane here is they haven't actually given the blue buff to Ryoma. Juves has felt pressure to dive bot because his top laner is dying. I think if they had gotten that blue on the Syndra, I mean, you saw how hard Ryoma almost killed him with the blue buff advantage before. And I think securing this blue is going to go a long way to letting Ryoma take over this game.
This is disciplined League of Legends out of TM.
Yep.
I mean, they knew that they were still in their jungle. They're going to get the Rift Herald as well because of how they've split the map. And T-Gun has just said, unfortunately for you, Low, you no longer get to farm. We're going to probably... Oh, they're actually marching back down bottom. I was going to say, we're probably going to march top lane now, and we're going to take the long lane.
I think they maybe should have done that. I will say that the only thing is that pretty lucky got those 2 early kills because it's meant that he can sack lane without actually falling behind in gold.
The thing for me is, I was wondering why Sin decided not to push for that bottom lane turret. It is very low. They've chipped away at it. They had 4 members bottom side with the AD carry support backed off.
Maybe their wave died. Not sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic point, Fish, because, I mean, they gave the wave. That's why it's now the 9 CS up in favor. And you can see that it's pushing back into them. Maybe they think they have a legitimate kill threat. You know, with Ash Arrow, Braum, ulti, as well as Juves, they want the 2 kills as well as a turret, greeting for it. But
double Hex Drinkers on the side of TM. That's just the beginning. I think that this first team fight is going to be really important. I definitely think Sin can still win it if they get a good Zac EQ ult combo into a Rumble ult with a Syndra one-shot on someone. I think they can still very easily win a fight. But if it keeps heading in this direction, I think the itemization is going to start hurting Sin.
The scary thing is I don't know whether Doppler, now that he's this far behind, can actually go 1v1 once the Merc Treads come out on Praetor.
Yep.
And then if Praetor's ever in a situation where he can just keep himself alive with his shield and continue to fight through, he's going to be a split-pushing role on Jarvan, because Jarvan still shoves lanes very quickly with the Tiamat.
Absolutely. I think knowing Praetor, probably just going to finish the Titanic Hydra first.
Yep.
Probably not going to worry too much about the Merc Treads. But I think that, yeah, once he gets those Merc Treads, it's going to be very difficult for Sin to come.
So it's just over 2,000 gold lead for TM at the moment.
Yep.
Only's been in 100% of kills that have taken part on some of the
Played very well. It's played very well. And it's not to say that, you know, what I want to point out about Only's play so far is that it's not off the back of a mistake by Juves. Juves hasn't done anything particularly wrong. He's doing what Zac should do, try and farm for 6, be relevant in the mid-game team fights. But Only's just taken it upon himself, created his own opportunities and capitalized.
Another big point for me in TM is the fact that T-Gun and Low, they're playing very well together in the bottom lane.
Yep.
Shock as well, not
go.
going too bad.
Oh, he's
Shockwave
dead.
back on towards Ryoma, and Only styles him with the kick flash.
I don't know if he needed a kick flash. He was just
Absolutely
dead
did
off
not.
the back end of the R into the QQ.
Yeah, Ward hop QRQ and he was dead.
Ooh, this is bold, Only.
But very nice Orianna ult
Bottom
to
lane
catch
though,
him.
trading back. FBI gets a kill on towards Low in the middle of the Dark Passage. 2v2 going in Sin's favor.
Double ultimates burnt. That's what I said. They thought they had kill threat. Turns out they were right. I was wrong. So now the delay on the turret take actually makes a little bit of sense from the Sin Gaming lineup because they get an extra 400 gold.
You sack your lane for long enough, eventually you're just going to lose it naturally, right? They had an advantage. They sacked their advantage, the jungler, so that Only could gank top. Now they're actually just straight up losing the lane as a result.
They're actually going to continue not taking the turret as well, so they feel like this is the only area they can continue to generate some form of a lead.
Yeah, maybe they're hoping for like a big Zac gank into like some TPs, and then they break the tower afterwards.
again,
That would be a big gold boost for them.
With the turret health as well, any single push from Sin in the bottom lane will take that turret, so they have it in their back pocket. The question really is, do they need that now? If they need it now, they should try and take it. If they can hold on with a 2,500 gold deficit, save it for later, try and make a play out of it.
Potentially wait for the next Dragon to come available, so you know that's the bottom lane turret into Dragon play that you're looking for.
I think Juice is looking for a way to get into this game.
Yeah.
You know, he spent 14 minutes farming, which is fine on Zac. Like I said, Zac scales probably one of the best scaling junglers, especially in terms of tanks.
I mean, I think he's one of the best scaling champions. He's got percent health damage still,
that's true.
and 3 forms of CC.
And so I think this bot lane tower, especially with Dragon down, if you were watching his player cam when Only sold the Dragon, Juves kind of grimaced a little bit. He's a bit upset because a bot lane objective is the way that Juves gets himself back into this game. And so I expect him to come down and try and force around this tower. The problem is whether or not this 2k deficit allows them to get it.
And also the 2-level lead on Only right now.
Yes.
Whether they're both there, does Only, especially if he beats him to 11, if it's 11 to 9, although here we go.
Though. There's 3 members of the team on the bottom side of the map.
Tegan
Tegan with a big flash play one more time, locking back the support. Only is the target of choice. Juice bouncing back a little bit. Rubber Hand's not going to do too much. Shock's
Ori's
down
here.
here as well. Now Juice, the one that is in trouble, flashes the shockwave. Still takes quite a bit of damage, but in the end, it's a big play from TM.
If that
Bit
shockwave
antsy.
hits, that's turret because they've already got the Rift Herald there on Only. Actually, where did he burn it?
He hasn't burnt it.
Hasn't
Still has
burned
it, I think.
Still has it. He must
Oh,
still have it.
Wait,
His
no,
trinket
doesn't his
ward's
trinket
down.
thing change?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Maybe he's just run
He's
out.
let it expire.
Yeah, I think he has. I think he has let it expire. That's a shame.
A little bit unfortunate because, yeah, as I was going to say, that would have been double kill into the Rift Herald.
Yeah, not Rift Herald usage left is a little bit lacking today. Shouts out Spooks.
Is this better or worse than the one we saw earlier by Spooks?
Well, technically,
I
he
think it's
didn't
better.
take all of the gold away from
I think it's
Swiffer.
better because he didn't freeze the lane halfway up into a Syndra. So I think not using it is better than what Spooks did.
I also think he got
Well,
much
Roma.
more out of power recalls, as Spook got none. Meanwhile, Shock's been forced to flash over the
Oh,
wall.
he
So
hit him.
Ryoma
Tagged
tags him. Good night, Ryoma. Get on him.
Can he get in range?
Nah.
Oh.
Come on,
So he'd already used the ward hop. Otherwise, that would have been ward hop into range.
Yep. Ryoma getting away by the skin of his teeth. Nice attempt. I think that in the bot lane just then was what I was talking about with Zach trying to get into Juves is trying to get into the game. That was his opportunity. That's why they tried so hard to turn it. Wasn't to be. And there you can see Ryoma also starting to feel the pressure a little bit. Feels like he has to do something to get his team on the board. This is looking a lot like Game 2 of Chiefs vs Abyss, where one team, there's a lot of pressure on the team to make plays, but it's just not coming together the way they want it.
Yeah, not eventuating. And the big thing for me is, we keep having these preconceived notions about how TM are going to play. Well, Praedyth, he goes back, he picks up the Merc Treads, he's playing very safely, not pushing in all that far. Only kind of beating Juves to the punch a couple of times here.
Absolutely.
And T-Gun, no yellow star moments this week, has landed 2 beautiful double plays. So
Yep, much better.
they look like they're coming together very well.
Yep.
Yeah. 2 turrets taken down for TM as well. That extends their gold lead to 3,500 in their favor.
I have to say that this is a good-looking TM roster. I mean, I think this lineup is doing much better than anyone expected to so far. I like the play. There's, you know what I mean? It's not like Sinner just throwing themselves at TM. TM are creating situations. They know when to give respect. They know when to give no respect and engage. I think this has been a really good 17 minutes from them.
And I think with their team comp, they can afford to... I mean, we keep saying Juves can be patient, he can farm up, but I don't think TM are in any rush this game either. They're sitting on a 3,000 gold lead right now. They can just stay there.
That's the auto.
Oh, they killed the minion.
Did
Big
he?
mistake from
Did he cancel
Ryoma.
the auto?
Tegan
Or is
going
it a
in.
big
Big
shockwave?
shockwave. 3 members. Equalizer will be popped down by Doppler, but is it going to be enough? Ryoma's going to fall
Nice.
first. Rogue's the second target to go down, and TM are slowly, one by one, destroying Sid. Doppler's the last man alive. That's an
What a
ace
team
picked up
fight.
by TM.
And all of a sudden, Praedyth flew into the back line with the Hex Drinker, with the Merc Treads, and just did not die. Everyone was crowded around him. Shockwaves, plays, everything went perfect there.
That was a level 11 Rumble ult. They don't even have a locker yet. They did nothing. Huge team fight. What a hook out of T-Gun. What a performance from him today. 107, almost... he's missed out on what?
The top
3
lane
kills. The top lane kills. He has on the bot side of the map, 100% kill participation. I think he's having a fantastic game so far.
Everyone on the team is having a great game so far. I mean, one missed shockwave from Shock Praedyth's been doing
I
fine,
mean, it was
but
flashed out of as well, so you say missed, and
Yeah,
maybe
he
he
just-
could have held it,
yeah,
but he still got
yeah,
summoner
yeah,
spell.
Yeah.
and Only as well as Only and Tegan have just been playing fantastic. Here's that
Yeah.
fight again.
Ooh.
Minion was killed.
Minion got killed. What a shame.
And then all of a sudden, he just flies in,
Big.
3-man ulti, 3-man shockwave, and then, I mean, Praedyth is just... He's standing in the middle of an equalizer for the full duration. He flashed after the equalizer was dead. Probably didn't even need to. Comes back here, Doppler picks him up. But that's nigh perfect team fighting coming out of the TM lineup.
I like the clean lean mechanics as well for the wall jump kick. Even though it just killed her, didn't do anything. The fact that he was still, 3 people were dead. Zach was in his blobs, and he was still willing to commit for the insec. I really like that out of Only.
And I
Fantastic, fantastic performance so far.
The thing about Lee Sin players, sometimes they get the rush of blood. Like, at the moment, no one would blame him if he goes towards a Black Cleaver or something like that. He's like, nah, I'm ahead. I've got enough damage. I'm going to pick up the most annoying Lee Sin item in the game, Dead Man's Plate. He's just going to run at you now. He's going to sock you once, so you're not going to be able to move.
Yep.
great jungle performance out of the young player on TM.
And TM having a fantastic game. Hopefully we can see himself throughout the rest of the series. Sin, though, looking a little bit like last week, we said Dockler had to step up. Hasn't really been his fault that top lane's going down. Maybe a little bit over-aggressive in the first game. But
I think he,
hasn't done much.
As a general rule, if you burn your sums and die the first time you get ganked, you have done something terribly wrong.
Yeah.
Because from that point on, you're just a walking 300 gold for the enemy jungler. When I see that, when I'm playing a game, and that happens to me, like, you're going to die at least twice more. Like, you have to die at least twice more, or the jungler's not doing his job right.
He's picking up his red buff. He's coming back into the top lane to auto-attack.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's going to kick you in the face.
Only son just saying 9 of the 11 kills he's been a part of.
You have to book a new dentist.
if you
Invest in
like,
braces.
when you win Worlds, I'm not going to say if. So when you win Worlds, Carson, if we don't get a skin of you sitting on Nunu's shoulder in a Legacy jersey, just running
That would be
around,
amazing. I would love that. That would be so sick.
I will be very disappointed in whoever creates the skins.
Gotta
Make
do
it
my
happen.
little pose. Did you see the SKT skins?
Yeah,
I like how they have the signature recalls now. I thought that was a nice touch.
Also the logo underneath them on certain spells and things like
Yeah,
that.
and they have the signature. They did a pretty good job with those ones. Remember last year? Everyone was
Pretty
raging about them.
I mean, the Coma
Shouts
skin,
out Right Skin team.
the Coma skin's the best. It's a bloody war.
Coma skin. Yeah, actually, I'm a fan. And the facepalm when it dies.
It does all the hand actions he does when he's giving players instructions as well. It's great. The facepalm's just glorious. So.
I mean, I think that's a nice compromise as well because I know he wanted Teemo as a skin. But,
Yeah, but I mean, Teemo's got 40 skins
yeah,
already.
exactly right. All of them more annoying than the last one.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it's probably like a poster up in Riot somewhere, and it's just like whoever can create the most annoying skin. It's like a chart of all his names.
What is it? Timo, Yasuo?
No, I meant like the skin designers. Like, I mean, I don't know what their names are. But like, Riot Skin Guy X, Riot Skin Guy Y.
Oh boy.
All right, what's going on?
Not much so
Not
far.
much. 6k gold lead, double air drakes for TM.
Imagine if they were fire. This game would. I would
Oh,
be
if they were
writing this game
fire,
off.
you go next.
Yeah.
This is a FF go next.
And the thing that, once again, I know I harp on this a lot, but I'm a big fan of it. When you're ahead, you can afford to pick up defensive items because you already have the damage and the levels and everything else to be able to, continue out the gold lead. So they've picked up Hex Drinker on their 80 carry. All of a sudden, Lowe's in very low chance of dying.
Redemption's completed for T-Gun.
Redemption, Banshee's Veil, everything.
Not sure about the Redemption versus the Locket in this scenario. I like Locket because it's instant, especially versus like the Syndra burst. Like Redemption's probably not going to do that much against Syndra, but the Locket at least blocks a little bit.
One thing I do like about the Redemption is the fact that 3 of their teammates have Hex Drinker, so that gives them the instant burst to survive, and Locker gives a bigger burst to kill
Oh, that's
afterwards.
a good point actually. I didn't think about it that way.
So I like it for that. It's a small thing.
Look at you. You got,
He's learning.
caster, pro player. You just start dropping knowledge bombs. Get back in your shoebox. Mute his microphone.
Oh, don't say that. They might actually do it. They have before.
All 3 waves pushing right now for the TM squad. They've got a Bork user, as well as the fact that Lee Sin's got pretty solid Baron secure at this stage of the game. I mean, Sin need to make sure they don't lose sight of the river completely as all the 3 waves are being pushed up.
Banshee's a pretty standard pickup nowadays for well, most mages, but especially in this matchup, Orianna versus Syndra. Syndra doesn't hit you with that first Q, or it saves you from a stun, or even the W does a ton of damage. It can really kind of stop Syndra's. It alleviates a lot of the pressure that Syndra has in the 1v1.
I'm curious to see where Sin go from here, though. Did I have to make the first proactive play? I can't even talk about that. Steam is starting Baron. They want to try and finish
This
this
is a
game.
good opportunity. They have it warded. They know it's happening. They can win a team fight still purely through their comp. Depends how TM play it.
I mean, the thing for me is TM's not going to commit to it, and Dockler was doing the right thing. He kind of backed away from the turret for a little bit. So all of a sudden, I mean, the Jarvan just sits there. He's now got a flank on Ryoma, and Ryoma, you need to get the heck out of dodge, Tommy, because they're all coming for you.
He's got no ghost. He has to walk out.
Dead Man's Plate, as well as Tigo and Mova is running at him. Ryoma with a big stun, but is it going to be enough? Kratos doesn't get the knock-up, still chasing him down. Redemption for damage. There is a blast cone there. Will Ryoma get it? He gets tagged. Ghost doesn't even go over and only gets in for the execute.
Yeah, he has missed top lane.
Ooh.
Performing pretty well here.
Yeah. He is, I mean, to be honest, that's the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
And if you're missing 1 Q for a game, that's a pretty good performance.
And I mean, all of a sudden, Ryoma's been picked off. Double Summoner Spell turn, so that's even harder to prevent from happening in the future. They're just so damn quick. And everything being taken away from Juves. This is a frustrating Zach game. You're on the best champion in the game right now, and they just 1-3-1ing you to death and not letting you in. And what is a team fight comp?
I mean, Benson was talking about how Praetor is so used to being on a split pushing champion. That Java might not be his comfort champion here, but he's doing just fine. He's still split pushing effectively on this.
Well, the gold lead he has means that he can.
Yep.
We saw in the Chief series where the Rumble was able to just clear wave after wave against Renekton, which arguably should be a harder matchup for the Rumble. But with the early deaths and the easy itemization, it means that Jarvan can just split push because this Rumble really can't show his face in the lane for too long.
And gone are the days where, like, I know people out there will be like, you have to take, if you got Syndra and Zac, you have to take AD top lane. Those days are kind of gone.
Yeah,
It's just that you have to be able to capitalize on what their strengths are earlier than what Sin have been able to. And now, sure, when he's got Hex Drinker, all that HP and Merc Tread, you're like, well, why do they have 3 Magic Dealers? Well, he's also 1-1-7 and 20 CS up with a 3-turret lead.
You got to when you criticize drafts, you kind of got to look at the game. What it looks like a 0-0-0 kind of point of view. If this game was 0 kills on both sides, the fact that they have 3 AP is not that big a deal, right? Because they get the Leandries, get early voids, TM wouldn't have all that MR. They maybe have 1 Hex Drinker finishing boots or like, on their way to a Locket, something like that. And so it looks a lot closer than what it is. But the fact that they've fallen behind with that easy itemization just makes it all the more difficult.
And now they're finding it even hard to approach their jungle fish. Everything being taken away.
Absolutely everything. And they're about 9,000 gold behind TM. 8.5k. You can see where their gold has been distributed. It's quite evenly distributed across the board. Everyone has a nice lead. 1,000 in mid and bottom.
3,000 up on the Lee Sin.
Yeah,
you give me 3,000 gold on Lee Sin, I'll be a very happy man.
Only as well Praetor holding most of the gold. FBI and Romo really close to their counterparts, but TM has started Baron again.
Got to make you wonder as well. I asked in the Champ Select what was the plan that TM had for Zac. Apparently the plan was to just beat him.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, the other plan behind Zac, and this was, we stupidly did it at Origin, and everyone kind of laughed about it afterwards. Like, how much practice have these guys got on this champion?
Yeah.
I mean, do they actually get to scrim with it? Let's just give it to them and see if it works.
Yep, or Praetor with the 1v2.
Ryoma
looking at Ryoma, he's got no
He's
flash.
down. He's going to be taken down. Wow, Praetor takes him on. 2-on-1. Juice is like, I've got to get towards this Baron.
TP coming in from the Rumble.
Get the heck out of here.
Baron's
Only
down.
picks up Baron. That's going to be taken out. Doppler's trying to do as much as he can. Good kick coming out from Only. Redemption heals them all back up quite nicely. Praetor going to take the Dark Passion to get away from there. Juice tries to go in. The hook lands onto Rogue. He didn't see that one coming. Juice just knocked the boys by escaping that.
I mean, they're all on fire.
Yep.
1v2 from Praetor, takes down mid laner, ties up Juice, Baron goes down. Successful disengage. Great re-engage from T-Gun, landing the hook.
That was actually a really nice team fight.
That was
Can we just appreciate that for a moment? I think everything that went right, that they did everything right. There was a huge Lee Sin kick that goes through the middle. Praetor tanks for long enough after 1v2ing. Fantastic re-engage. They flash out of the Zac E, you know what I mean? I think, yeah, they've just played that really, really well.
And even the initial Baron setup, they clear out River, they walk through the jungle, get their wards, they disappear, they come back, they disappear. There's nothing they can do. They're burning Scrying Orb. And, even though this teleport is coming in and we keep going back to it, around this area, Rumble should be so strong, and that's a great ulti. They're just so far ahead that it honestly doesn't matter. And the execution out of TM is just so crisp that they're able to punish all these little mistakes. And yeah, this is going to be a back to the drawing board game for Sin because they're getting pumped at the moment.
Absolutely.
TM playing this quite stock standard as well. They take 1 turret after the initial Baron, head back to base. They're now 11,000 gold up. Block is almost complete for T-Gun as well.
7-1-4 Lee Sin, 11 out of 13 kill participation. Oof. The Goon is on 1-0-9.
He's been clean too. I think that's what, you know what I mean? Anyone can have a good score. Once in a while you have a good game. But I think the thing with Only is that 95%, when it's counted, he's been clean.
And he's not
especially on Lee Sin, that's huge. Yeah.
I'm a hyphy Lee Sin when I'm there. I don't know about you, but
no,
I feel like I am
ruin
unstoppable.
everything. I get a lead and I just fly in. I get 1 shot and it's a shutdown gold and my team yells at me.
Here we go, he's going again. Dead man plate.
Going to try and get into the back lines, but TM
Look
did the
at
right
the threat.
thing.
He's got the Soul Shroud as well.
They're going to take down bottom lane inner, and look at this Praetor still splitting top lane. I mean,
Syndra damage is healing him.
Arrow on
Arrow.
only. They tag him. Equalizer comes through. It's a good
Great
one.
play.
Big flame from Tegan. Stops the engage from Juves. And a
Oh.
hook rumble back in. Redemption gets them all to full
Raiders
health.
cancelled his teleport. He doesn't even want to fight.
Go, extend their arms.
You can take the split pushing champion away from Praetor, but you can't take the split push out of the man himself.
Gets the
Big
flag.
play again. Tegan, stop it. You're a madman at the moment. Still Sin looking for a fight. They're trying to lock him down. Only a
Praetor
bounce
defending.
back from Juves. They lose their support. Praetor's finishing the game. Get back to your Nexus, Sin. It's about to be taken down.
What a game out of TM. I honestly cannot believe this. I don't know if they have enough damage to kill him either. He's just going to wail on
Look,
it.
he does not care.
He doesn't take any damage.
Screw you, Ryan. I'm
He
going
just
to hit
doesn't
your
take
bloody
any da- he doesn't-
Nexus. This is how you win the game. TM going to
He has no
focus it
cares.
down. Clap it
Wow,
around
what a
the
win.
board.
How excited are they?
TM just picked up a game over Sin.
It's not a perfect game, but that is a perfect game out of TM.
Yep.
They executed on all their win conditions. They had tempo at every stage, and goodness gracious me, that is an exciting young roster.
And how must that feel for T-Gun? When was the last time he won a game?
A while ago.
Well,
honestly-
he didn't win a single game last split, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
That has to
Aliens
feel
before
good.
that.
They
That has to feel
one
good.
single
Aliens
game.
before that. I mean,
Yep.
he was on a
Been a
drought
rough
for a
couple
long,
of years
long
for
time.
T-Gun, but popped off.
And the thing
The
about
goon.
T-Gun, we talk about it all the time. When you get young players on your team in O's, you go towards a T-Gun. Someone like that can bring them together. So, I know they've changed coaching staff and bringing on Cyclone. Praetor's a little bit older and has some time under him now. But a lot of what is happening macro-wise has to be credited to him because he's a shot caller. He's
Yep.
very vocal about it.
Yep.
And they've got some good ideas about how to play this game now.
And we're talking a lot about last split and the split before, how, you bring Tegan on, he might be the shot caller, maybe not the best mechanical player, but he was on point mechanically in that game.
Yeah.
Every single hook was
Absolutely.
hitting.
Yeah.
Much better than last week.
I mean-
Very impressed.
We knew that he had a good thrash. It was banned throughout the whole promo Rallo series when it first came back into meta, and he was having some sick highlight plays.
Just loves hookers.
It's a fantastic shot on the Thresh champion. Maybe might be get a blitzcrank for him.
I
on
hope
the
he
next
gets a
two
blitzcrank
games.
game in there.
Might see it. Yeah, if they ban the Thresh, wouldn't be surprised to see the Blitz come out.
Yeah,
Maybe the
possibly.
Nautilus.
Love to see how that one goes, but still TM with a fantastic game there. Everyone kind of wrote them off in that first match, but Sin had absolutely nothing they could do. Finale to break down that game, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Well. Looks like some people wrote off a certain team, and that certain team came out swinging. If you're just joining us, TM have taken that first game 1-0 over Sin, and kind of incredible stuff there.
Yeah, honestly, it was really creative jungle pathing from Only to open up the early game, and he went bot, he went top, he went mid.
all over
Nothing
the
failed for him. Like Juves, it wasn't even Juves' fault. Juves' job was to farm and get level 6.
Yeah.
Everything worked for him.
Meanwhile, Destiny, your perfect score here on the desk has now been ruined.
I'm not credible anymore. Do not listen to me.
Unfollow.
Yep.
But what do you think happened overall? Is it just Only popping off? Is it-
Yeah,
we
agreed with
said
Jake.
we said it was going to be a threat.
Only just exploded. Like bot exploded, top exploded, and yeah, Dockler just looked like he didn't know what was coming that game.
Yeah, looking shaky on this second game, but potentially he can get back into it for game 2. But let's talk about where this game really kind of broke open for TM, because it's them getting an ace in the mid lane. And Destiny, I want you to talk us through this. I mean, is it just T-Gun TV? He's just hitting that hook?
Yep, the goon. The goon hits a beautiful hook onto mid, straight on the Syndra. That's like the priority target. Into the Shockwave, into the Cataclysm, and they just explode the backline. They're just free hitting, and they're completely zoned in that Cataclysm. And FBI just fails to do damage. A beautiful kick from Only. And Sin have just been like, just completely aced because they just got our team for it. Because
Tion didn't even die there.
yeah, TM just got the perfect engage.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, is that kind of this where you felt the game broke open?
Yeah,
for
definitely.
TM?
Obviously, Only got a lot of the early ganks off, got him a gold lead, and that obviously helped in that 5v5 fight, but it was very well executed also.
So, I mean, you look at, this is the second week in a row that T-Gun has gotten Zach, I think. Did you get Zach last week?
Juves.
Juve, sorry. Oh, my
Yes.
goodness. Sorry. I'm getting my various leaders in the teams mixed up. Juves has picked up Zach again this week, and it felt like he was not... I mean, look, he didn't have a great game, obviously. But do you think it was his fault? Or is it
like I said, I don't
the
really
team
think it
collapsing
was.
around him?
Yeah, I don't think it was Juves' fault. It wasn't his job to pressure early.
Yeah.
Obviously, he could have done a better job at matching Lee Sin, but I think Only did have creative pathing. Only definitely had the early skirmish advantage between Zach and Lee Sin,
Right.
and I think Sin's lanes just played overly aggressive and got punished for it.
Yeah, just touching on that. that bottom lane gank, that was really good communication between TM
Yeah.
because there was a ward in the river, but instead he ward hopped over the dragon, went through try, and that led to a successful gank, then a dive where he traded 1-for-1. But that still
And
benefited the
denied
bot
that
lane.
huge wave.
Yeah, that wave was huge, and the aggressive Sin bot lane got shut down, and then as soon as Jarvan hit level 6, he ganks top, and Rumble's weak point in the game just gets exploited completely.
Well, moving forward, let's take a look at this second replay, Jake. And as we bring it up, this is the Baron fight. And I want you to talk us through what's going on here.
Okay, so just before the replay, Sin had blue trinketed the Baron. TM killed the trinket, backed off, went back to Baron. They blue trinketed again, and this time TM stayed on it without Sin noticing. They just finished it. Praetor did a really good job at zoning Ryoma mid, got the kill there. And right here is just really good kiting and disengaging from TM, and they obviously turn it back around, kill Rogue, and that's the game.
Destino, you had some very nice words there for that, the lead kick as well in that.
Yeah, double knock up straight into the backline. Like
Varus
I think Only played it out of his mind. I think T-Gun played out of his mind. Just as a whole, TM just looked like they were a good, like a unified team, which we never saw last week.
And I mean,
yeah.
you know, the casters then were just saying, look, hey, maybe that's because of having someone like T-Gun to bring the team together as a bit of a leader. But also, I mean, let's not discount the fact that they've got a new coach in. And for for the second half of last split, you know, TM didn't have an official coach. They didn't have someone on stage doing their drafts. So that's obviously an infrastructure that they are building around this team now that potentially is paying dividends.
Yeah, I mentioned this just in the intro before, but you know, they've got rookies on their team. I said you can't really count them out. They've got good leaders. Obviously, Cyclone's doing good work. T-Gun's doing good work. That was a really impressive performance from Only as a rookie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're all surprised now. Does anyone want to change their predictions going into this second game?
I've got to change it slightly, so I'll put it as the 2-1 to Sin.
2-1. You guys still think Juice's boys are going to fight back on this?
I think Juice needs to pick a more aggressive jungler.
What do you want? What do you want to see? What do you want to see?
An Elise or even a Kha'Zix. Like he showed Kha'Zix in the Gauntlet that was pretty good. I think Juice's job is like to get his lanes going early. That's what he's known for, and he should get on that.
So what? He should have just left that Zac open then, do you think?
I don't know.
If Zac's open, you got to
obviously
take
Zac
it,
is
don't you?
really strong, but
Yeah.
TM felt really confident and Only like abused Zac's early jungling really well.
I think that they baited him to pick the Zac
Yeah.
because he never did that well with it last week, and now he's playing it again. And Only's like an early aggressive jungler, so putting him on a scaling tank jungler, which is Zac, he just walks into his jungle, takes his camps, and ganks around the entire map.
But now that it's flipped, are Sin presumably in the draft phase, they ban Zac, they ban Galio, maybe they leave Elise open and then hopefully get it.
Well, you never know. Like Mitch said, Only is known as an early aggressive jungler,
Yeah.
but he also played a pretty good Zac at the LoL Origins event. So don't know what's going to happen from Fix fans.
Who knows?
I think they'll just ban it just to be
So
safe.
what does Sin need to do then to get back into this series then?
Just play properly around their
Yeah.
around their priority. So obviously they should know that Jubes will get out pressured early. So they need to just take a step back, lose a bit of farm, and just wait for him to scale up.
Yeah, I think what Sin need to do is put Ryoma on a roaming champion, not Syndra. Put him on the Talia. Just put him on something that he can make presence in the other lanes, and put Juves on something that can match Only's aggression, like the Elise, like the Lee Sin, even Kha'Zix. We've seen him play it time and again. And yeah, they just need to play to their strengths. And yeah, I'm actually mind blown at how well TM played that game.
I was kind of confused by. I should have asked Bensel about this in the interview, but the first ban that Sin threw out, I think, was Zillion. I think.
Yes. So that's what I was mentioning before.
Yeah.
Shock has a limited champion pool that
Yes.
he's comfortable on, and yeah, he's known as a bit of a Zillion one trick in solo queue.
But then you ban that, but he still gets on Orianna, and he did all right on that. So
he
like,
did. Orianna is like one of his
He's
other
one,
like top
yeah.
3-4 champions that he's good at. But
But then I just think that if their thing is, if you're banning Zillion, right? Then were they picking a mid laner for themselves that Zillion would have countered, or do they just kind of ban the Zillion and then not deal with that later in the
I'd
draft?
say it's more of like a comfort thing. Like they don't
Yeah.
get any other practice against Zillion. Like no
Yeah.
other team's really going to play Zillion, so it's hard to gather like his strengths and weaknesses.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Right, they just don't
I
wanna deal with
definitely agree with Jake that like if you haven't had practice against another champion that is rarely played like the Zillion, it's better to ban it out because you're just adding an unknown variable that you're not used to playing. You don't know what its strengths, what its weaknesses are. So it's better to just play to your strengths and ban out theirs.
It's also like the Zac. Like
Yeah.
obviously Juves, like we saw he had a few mechanical blunders against Legacy when he played it. Like maybe they saw that just leave it open. Obviously, you know, it's hard to get this champion.
Well, this is I was about to say Zach versus Only. This is Juves versus Only in that most recent game, and obviously Only popping off on that, and potentially they've got to look to shut him down in this second game, surely.
Yeah, definitely. Like, they've got to play. Juves has got to get some vision on him. They've got to track him a little bit better because everything he did that game worked.
Do you try and ban out the Lee Sin, or is that? I mean, it's kind of hard, isn't it? Because there's just so many different jungle options.
I reckon just match it. I don't think it's worthy of a ban. I think that this upcoming game, Juves needs to prove himself. Like, I think he had a pretty bad series last week versus Legacy, and now he got completely outclassed that game without, like, even having... Like, he couldn't even make a play because the game was just exploded.
Well, let's just quickly look at another graph here. Let's take a look at enemy minions. Oh, sorry, neutral minions killed in the enemy jungle, and obviously Only just all up in Juves' jungle there.
Yeah, one of the key things to really look at is like when laners can get that, because obviously Only's created a huge advantage for Praedyth in the top side, and that's allowed him to go in and invade as well, as not only Only.
Yeah.
Praedyth farming that much is actually like
that's insane.
Crazy. So that just like relies on how well that level 6 gank just pretty much exploded the top lane. Like the top lane matchup was just done.
He took 2/3 of Juves' jungle camp to like...
Yeah.
But that, and the thing is, if Dockler's already behind, that pushes him even further behind, and he can't get in front because he would.
Jarvan's just going to push in.
Yeah,
he
and
can't
he
that
can't
jungle.
obviously snake stuff out of.
Yeah, obviously they did go bot side and try and get a bit of an advantage, but TM played smart enough to lose like very minimal.
Whew. All right. Well, that is our analysis of this second game. Of this first match of this. Sorry, the second. Oh my goodness!
First game of the second match.
Thank you, Jake. I will be replaced by Jake very soon because I am slowly decaying. But we'll be back with your second game right after these highlights.
Double flash, and there's a Hawk straight back on towards Rogue. Ignite is ticking, and Rogue's going to fall. First blood picked up by Long. And knocked him down with mechanicals as well. Dockler's going to stand and fight him. Good equalizer coming through. Praedyth is fairly low, but Only's right behind him. Tags him, gets the follow through as well. Dockler as well as Only pick up that kill.
There we go. Too bad.
He's back on towards Ryoma, and Only styles him with the kick flash. Oh, they killed the minion. Big mistake from Ryoma. Tiga going in. Big shockwave. 3 members. Equalizer will be popped down by Dockler, but it's going to be enough. Ryoma's going to fall first. Rogue is the second target to go down, and TM are slowly one by one destroying Sid. Dockler's the last man alive. That's an ace picked up by TM.
See if it worked. Yep, Praedyth with the 1v2.
Looking
at Ryoma, he's got no flash.
He's going to be taken down. Wow, Praedyth takes him on. 2-on-1. Juves is like, I've got to get towards this Baron.
TP coming in from the Rumble.
Get the heck out of here.
Baron's
Only
down.
picks up Baron. That's going to be taken out. Dockler's trying to do as much as he can. Good kick coming out from Only. Redemption heals them all back up quite nicely. Praedyth going to take the Dark Passion to get away from there. Juves tries to go in. The hook lands onto Rogue. He didn't see that one coming. Juves just docked the boys by escaping that.
Syndra damage is healing him.
Arrow on towards Only, they tag him, Equalizer comes through, it's a good one. Big flame from Tegan, stops the engage from Juves, and they hook Rumble back in. Redemption gets them all to full
Praedyth
health.
cancelled his teleport. He doesn't even want to fight.
Go, extend their arms.
You can take the split pushing champion away from Praedyth, but you can't take the split push out of the man himself.
Get the
Big
flag.
play again. Tegan, stop it! You're a madman at the moment. Still Sid looking for a fight. They're trying to lock him down. Only a bounce back from Juves. They lose their support. Praedyth's finishing the game. Get back to your Nexus, Sid. It's about to be taken down.
What a game out of TM. I honestly cannot believe this. I don't know if they have enough damage to kill him either. He's just going to wail on
Look,
us.
he does not care.
He doesn't take any damage.
Screw you, Ryan. I'm
He
going
just
to hit
doesn't
your
take
bloody
any damage.
Nexus. This is how you win the game. TM going to
There's no
focus it
cares.
down. Clap it
Wow, what a
around the
win. How
board.
excited are they?
TM just picked up the game over Sid.